Why did I have to go through this at 16? Why are girls having to go through this at 18, at 17, at 20? This has to stop. Sex for grades. So the lecturers were basically trying to exploit these female students by using sex for grades. If you give me sex, then I'll give you grades. How crazy is that? And then we wonder how these girls, right, girls who have been through trauma and things like that, how they become like the city girl stereotype and promiscuous and the Jezebel spirit and literally going through the whole phase. Like all these things that I speak about, that a lot of women go through, I speak about on my channel. A lot of it come from trauma. And the trauma can be like this. Basically being sold out for sex for grades. Like what the heck? And I've kind of experienced something like that. Not to the very high level, which I thank God for. But I've kind of experienced that kind of harassment before. And I'm also going to speak on my story because this thing has to stop. Like we cannot be condemning people like Sexy Red. Like I do not advocate for how she behaves or her behavior or her promiscuous, everything, ratchet behavior. No, I do not advocate for it at all. But then we have to look behind why a person is how they are. She was raped. Yeah, Sexy Red, she was raped. And whenever she likes to speak on such deep topics like that, then they just shut her down because they don't want to hear that. They just want to hear, oh, she's a ratchet girl, she's promiscuous, but they don't want to hear the deep trauma, like things that make women end up like that. Everybody wants to bypass the root cause.
Sex for grades. University professors sexually harassing and blackmailing their students. We all hear about it, but it's almost never proven.
Seriously, it's almost never proven. Even when they come out to say that, oh, this has done this to me, they can just lie their way out of like, oh, maybe she's just lying or she's just trying to gain something. That's why. So it's almost never proven, even when they speak out. I feel like it starts from our schools. It starts from our primary schools. Like the girls are being groomed. Like me, for instance, right? I won't say I was groomed, but then I've been through that kind of harassment kind of thing. And back then, I thought that it's normal. It's not that deep, so I shouldn't take it as a big deal. But then we girls, right? Or even guys, we will see those kind of things. We will take it as not a big deal. Or he's just your teacher, or he's just playing with you. But then you start to normalize it in your head. So when it happens to you in university, it starts small, like little signs before it becomes this big thing. So when it starts to happen to you in universities, you don't see the signs until you are really there, until it really happened. So my story, for instance, right, like in school, I guess because of my beauty or whatever, when I was much younger in Ghana, like in school, these teachers would be like, oh, my angel, oh, you're my wife, oh, you're my queen. Like, yeah, it can seem kind of endearing, but then you are a teacher. Why do you have to do that? Like, and it's not just me. A lot of the girls were doing it too. Like, you don't have to, like, keep the relationship cordial. Like, I get it. It's okay. Like, you can have fun with your students and like that. But when it goes so far, like, I don't mind the my wife and my queen thing. I really didn't mind it. But when I started watching this kind of documentaries, I realized that a lot of these girls, right, they've been spoken to like that and the rest. So they don't see the signs of grooming until it's too late. And all those kind of things can be signs of grooming. Me, for instance, right, like when it happened, yeah, those, my wife, my distant things, it's okay. It's not okay, but it's not that big of a deal. But then there was one teacher, this teacher took it way too far. Like I don't know how I even started because I've forgotten. I was like 10, 11, 12. It's just ridiculous. And then he would be like, oh, my angel. He would just come to the class. He was not even our teacher. He would just come to the class and be like, oh, my angel, my wife, things like that. And then come and sit on my desk or try to make me uncomfortable because I was very shy. So I guess he was just trying to make me uncomfortable for whatever reason. And he would just sit on my desk. And then one thing that I really remember was that he would speak to the whole class about me. Oh, this is my wife. Like, he would just speak like that just to make me uncomfortable, which is really weird. Like, I didn't see it as a bad thing, but then now we have to stop it. It has to start from there, and we need to arise and put a stop to this thing because it's just too much. So I remember one time, right, I used to take the bus home, and in the bus, if you don't go exactly when school closes, it's going to leave you, and then you're going to be stranded. There's no means for you to get home, right? And then I was running to get home to the bus because the lessons had been very long. And this teacher was preventing me from leaving. Like, what the heck? I'm trying to go and I'm in a hurry. But this teacher, he held my bag. I don't know where he came from. He held my bag And then he started saying, oh, my angel, my angel. I was like, oh, sir, I have to go. Like, I was so shy of him. I could not really look at him in the eyes. Like, I couldn't. But that's because I was a very shy girl in general. So when uncomfortable things like that are happening, it gets even worse. And he kept holding me back from trying to leave. And I was like, sir, I have to go, I have to go, I have to go. And then he just, like, what is that? Like, seriously, what is that? Oh, teachers, this is not right. Like, be okay, be friendly with your students, your female students, things like that. But don't push yourself on them like, it's too much. This is the real deal, the real sexual harassment. Because sexual harassment does not just mean that, oh, touching bodies or whatever. It starts from the things you say, the things you do. So this man, he was literally trying to groom me. And I'm going to go into grooming later. I'm going to define grooming and things like that. In school, I was about 16, and then I went to one private secondary school because I really wanted to come to this country. So my mom enrolled me in a private school instead of like the public schools that like usually top students would go. So I went to a private school close to my house. And this teacher, when I went at first, right, he was not there and everything was okay. All the teachers were nice to me and I was happy. And then the Friday that I went there, he came. He came and then we were at assembly. And then he made all of us stand for whatever reason. And then I was just standing there looking at him. I was like, oh, this is a new teacher. And then he was just like, he saw me. He was like, who are you? What is your name? And I was like, Angel. In assembly, so everybody was there. He was like, WTF? Why would it, like, what? And that time I did not know what WTF was. I didn't know what it was. I was like, huh? And then all the students started laughing. And remember, this is the whole school. So everybody was there. Like, it's a whole class, like a lot of students. And I was like, and then he made all of us leave. And then he just kept staring at me. And then he came close to me. I was like, I'm going to talk to you later. I've forgotten a lot of the details, but oh gosh. Anyway, he said he was going to talk to me later. And then I went to the class and then he came there and he came to sit on top of my desk. And then he started asking me questions about where do I come from, who am I, and I'm such a beauty, things like that.
Beautiful girl. Do you know that? Eh? You are not beautiful. We are very beautiful.
Dad, do I know I'm beautiful? And I was like, thank you, sir. Like, it's just so icky. Like, yeah, things like that happen. Like, it was just a lot of scenarios, and I've forgotten most of them. So because of that, I started to miss school. Especially he was the English teacher, so whenever it was his days to teach, I tried my best to miss school. And I was very shy. And I was so skinny. If you guys see my skinny video, if you go through my channel, you will see my skinny shaming video. I was basically skinny shamed and I was bullied for being skinny, right? So I really hated how I looked. And the school uniform had very short sleeves and then all of here will be showing. And I didn't want that, so I used to wear a jacket on top and it was fine. So this teacher came in one time and then I was just sitting up, and whenever he comes in, he just stares at me. So freaking uncomfortable. Like, it's so uncomfortable. He would just sit on his desk and I'll be sitting somewhere and then he would just be staring. And then he told me, he punished one of my male friends, and that male friend, he liked me in some sense. He liked me. He was attracted to me. So, and he knew that because he could see him staring at me. So he made him kneel down for whatever reason. And then he called me to come to him. And then he told me that I should open up my jacket. It's so weird. It was so weird. Like he was trying to see my boobs or to gauge my boobs. Like, seriously, guys. Like, he told me, open up your jacket. I was like, but I'm uncomfortable. He was like, open it. And then I started opening up my jacket. I was unbuttoning it. I was unzipping, like, there was a button, so I was opening little by little, little by little. Yeah, he was just looking like, just looking. And then my friend, that guy that was kneeling down, he was saying no, like, I should not do it. And then he caught him. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he beat him or something. And then later on, he started to teach English words, synonyms, right? And then he said synonyms for glaring. So glaring, I'm glaring at you. I am staring at you. I am staring at her. And then he pointed at me. It's like I am staring at Angel, or you. And he pointed at that my male friend, or you staring at Angel. I am staring at her. And he was just staring like, seriously, how do you expect the students to respect you if you behave in such a manner? Like, seriously. I was just like, and everybody started laughing again, and it was just so uncomfortable. Another time he came to me and he was like, oh, what kind of guys do I like and what's my type? A 16-year-old girl. And he was in his 30s, around his 30s, early 30s. Okay. Apparently, there were rumors going on that there was a girl, she was my senior, so she was 18. He had dated her and impregnated her or something, and she left the school. I don't know if it was true or not, but basically there were rumors going on about him. That means he had a bad reputation, and everybody was telling me to be careful of him. All my female friends was like, Angel, be careful of him. But how am I going to be careful? It's not like I can run away, can I? So that's why you cannot blame the students so much in such a scenario. Like when things like that happen, because they have to show respect and because they want their grades or whatever, they don't want to drop out of school. What are they going to do? And him, everybody knew about him. The head teacher knew about him, but he was still in the school. If there were rumors going on about him having to impregnate a girl or whatever, then why was he still in the school? And one time, this was like the most uncomfortable situation. So I was sitting on a desk, and like I said, I usually would not go on the days that he was teaching, right? But this day, he came on a day that he was not teaching, whatever reason. And I was learning in a class. I was in another class, and I was learning there. And then the teacher was teaching me. He was in front of me, teaching me, not only me, but everybody else. And then he went to sit on the teacher's desk. So the teacher was standing in front of us and teaching. And he was staring at me. Like I said, every time when he sees me, he just stares at me. He was staring at me. And then he was like, I don't know, can you read my lips? And I was like, huh? What? He's like, and case in point, the teacher was standing in front of me, teaching me. He was there distracting me, asking me, basically, how old am I? Oh my God. Like, okay, fine. It's so inappropriate in the first place, but okay, you couldn't wait after the lesson. You were in somebody else's lesson asking me how old I am. Okay. And then I was like, I'll never forget this memory. I can't forget this memory. Like, seriously. So I said 16. And then I was like, and that time, right, because I was 16, it feels like I'm grown. Like I'm old. But now I'm 25, I'm like, 16. Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? Like, why did I have to go through this at 16? Why are girls having to go through this at 18, at 17, at 20? Why? And why are we blaming these girls? That's why I'm so happy that Horizon is coming up. Like, this documentary has been set and then they went spying on them. But still, it's still happening. And that's why we have to stand up for these children. Like, we have to stand up for them because they are our sisters, they are our daughters, they are our... Seriously, guys, we have to stand up. This has to stop.
Pass your jam, I'll give you admission.
Are you serious?
We had our final exams, right? And then he asked me, because I was a bright student, right? And he had never caned me before. In Ghana, right, if you do something bad, they creep you, they cane you, like with a stick. Yeah, they beat you up. Yeah, it's that bad. So he had never really done that before because I never really did something for him to do so. But he always wanted to cane me. I don't know, because you can hold my body when you're doing it or something. Because he was always like, oh, I'm going to cane you one day. I'm going to beat you up. Like, okay. And he asked me, what mark do I want for my final exam? And then I said 90 without thinking. Because I thought, oh, I can achieve that. He was like, okay, fine. I was like, no. He said, no. So, I don't know. God was the one who protected me from that situation, guys. God delivered me. Because when he said that, and then I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'll get 90. I felt like maybe if I don't get the 90, then he will use that as a reason to cane me. That, oh, you want 90, but you didn't get it, so I'm going to cane you. But just because you don't get a mark, that's no reason for him to cane you. But I think he was trying to use it as a means to do so. Or maybe like what's happening here, if I didn't get it, then he'll be like, oh, you need to do this, then you can't get it. I don't know what would have happened. But then after that, I started praying, guys. I literally started praying. Because that's when we stopped school, right? So I started praying that God would open the door so that I'll be able to come to this country. And even though I have a Dutch passport, it was so many circumstances why I couldn't come here. And I spoke about this in my video, my testimony video on how I got my dream uni. So guys, look into that video. So basically, it was problems with my dad and things like that. That's why I couldn't come. He would not sign the papers for me to come. So I kept praying. So my mom and my sister were here to do things for me to be able to come without him. And I just kept praying because I was alone with my stepdad. And I was so sad, guys. It was so miserable because of this teacher. Like, it was bad enough that my mom and my sister were not there. And then I have this teacher harassing me. And I couldn't tell anybody really, apart from the people who knew about it, because I felt like it was not that deep. But guys, if you are feeling uncomfortable, then it's time to speak up. Who cares what anybody says? You feel uncomfortable, so speak the truth. The Bible encourages us to speak the truth. Like I said, I prayed to God about it. But then I should have also probably told my stepdad, because he was a policeman, so he could have done something about it. But then, because I felt like it's not that deep. But then when you feel like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, that's when you have to start speaking to people. Thankfully, I spoke to my friends about it. So even if you cannot really speak to the police because they think like it's not enough or whatever, speak to friends, speak to family, tell somebody about it. I should have probably told my mom or something. Speak. That's what Ephesians 4:25 says, that we should speak everything in honesty and truthfulness. Don't let them get away. That God, please, I don't want to go back to the school. I am scared of what this man is going to do to me. So I started praying. And that was during the midterms. So basically, we are going to resume school in September. And he's going to tell me my grade or whatever. Like, you may pray so much and then nothing is happening. Like, maybe these girls, like, nothing's really happening. You don't see God doing nothing much. Like, oh God, what are you doing? Why is this still happening? But then God hears you. Because it was me, I kept praying, waiting. May, June, nothing. July, nothing. August, nothing. September, nothing. Until we were supposed to resume around 20-something of September. It was quite long. But then nothing for some days. And then all of a sudden, I kept praying, kept trusting God. That even if I have to go back, that he will still protect me. And I kept trusting in God's guidance. And like the Bible reassures us in Isaiah 41:10, that God is with us, believers, and he will guide you through difficult times, because that was so hard. And I spoke about this in my testimony video. So if you want to know the full depth of what I went through, please watch my testimony video. So around like the 12th or something of September, I got a call and they said that my father was going to sign. I was like, what? He was going... Like, I literally banged on this man's door. I went to the house, I banged on it. And guys, I'm bringing an ebook on being a child of divorce, because I went to his house because he has sucked us away from the house because of the divorce. And I'm going to bring an ebook on how to navigate dating as a child of divorce, because dating has also been very tough. And when you go through kind of trauma like this, it's going to make dating even harder. But anyway, watch out for that ebook. So I kept banging on the door, that he should come out and he should sign my papers. But he didn't. So it was so shocking that all of a sudden he was going to sign what? It's like he was going to sign. And I was like, wow, God. And I kept praying that, oh, what if he changes his mind? Things like that. But he didn't. And then when he signed it, it was still like October that I had to come. So I was like, oh my gosh, what if they say that, oh, I should go to the school for a while because it's October? And I was like, and I kept trying to convince my mom that, oh, mommy, I'm coming anyway, so it's going to be a waste of school fees, because I not really told her what happened, because I planned that out when I come. But I should have told her. I should have told her on the phone. I mean, she was not around, because she would have been like, nah, I'm removing my girl from the school because this is mad. So guys, when things like that happen, you have to speak out. You have to speak out and trust in God's guidance, that God will give you the strength and the support to navigate the situation, that you'll find a way out. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard. And it may feel like, oh, God is favoring me. But in that time, I didn't feel like God was favoring me. I was like, God, why are you even making me go through that situation in the first place? Why me? For you created my inmost being and knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you deserve the best.
God wants someone to know that he is about to turn that negative situation into the biggest blessing in your life. You're going to have to trust him.